16th century. And this is what he says about Bellini, who's from the 1500s. Giovanni Bellini knows the earth well, paints it to the full, and to the smallest fig leaf and falling flower. Blue hill and white-walled city, glittering robe and golden hair, to each he will give its luster and its loveliness. And then, so far as with his poor human lips he may declare it, far beyond all these, he proclaims that heaven is bright. Bellini precedes the change, meets and resists it victoriously to his death. That's a change brought on by later artists in the 1500s. Nothing of flaw or failure is ever to be discerned in him. Then Raphael, Michelangelo, and Titian together bring about the deadly change. Michelangelo being the chief captain in evil, Titian in natural force. Then Tintoret, himself nearly as strong as all the three, stands up for a last fight, for Venice and the old time. He all but wins it at first, but the three together are too strong for him. Michelangelo strikes him down, and the arts are ended. Il disegno di Michelangelo, that fatal motto was his death warrant. Now, who was Giovanni Bellini? He was from a family of artists. His brother-in-law was Mantegna. During his life, his brother was more famous than he was. So I'm going to be anecdotal and show you a picture by Bellini that impressed me when I was a child. We had a big book of famous paintings, and my sisters and I would choose the paintings that we thought were the best, and we invariably chose sentimental pre-Raphaelite paintings of scenes because we were young and sentimental. And this is a Bellini portrait of a pope. And even though I was only 7 or 8 years old, the image stuck in my mind incredibly strongly. I only had black ink at the time, so I printed it in black and white. But what was so impressive to me was the line of the hat coming over like that, and just the perfection of all the forms fitting together and the clarity of them. So this image was memorable to me, and I can see in it the things that the pre-Raphaelites wanted in art, even though they added a sentimentality that almost negated the clarity of Giovanni Bellini. So I'm going to give you 2 examples of the sons of Noah covering his body when they find him drunk and nude. And so here is a Michelangelo Sistine Chapel. The 3 brothers, one of them disrespectful and the other 2 respectful. This is a Bellini of the old man. Now, the old man looks just like Tram, doesn't he? Drunken, out of his mind, and 2 sons are being respectful and covering him, not looking at him naked, and the other son, Ham, laughing and being disrespectful towards his father. A great story, well told here, with a simplicity and a realism and attention to detail. Now, Michelangelo's picture is a little different. You can see how the pre-Raphaelites who wanted a scene that was described and semi-realistic but still artistic could have found this Michelangelo voluptuousness vulgar and overdone in some ways, or too meaty. Can you see if the clock is? So I'm going to continue showing another Bellini, and this is
24 seconds.
Huh?
24 seconds.
Okay, 24 seconds. This is, I'd like to relate this to the Leonardo, what they call Savior of the World, but this actually isn't called the Savior. This is called, this pose is God Omnipotent, which actually I think the Leonardo was too. There's a whole series, a tradition from the 4th, 6th century of, I'll show those next, of Christ. And I want to withdraw the fact, I was saying that maybe the Viking hand had caused this, but I don't think the Vikings were that powerful in the 4th century and 6th century, so I don't think it's a Viking hand. I think it really is a gesture. So I want to withdraw that statement that I made. Let's do 4, 5.